If you weren't aware, Jimmy Kimmel just lost his talk show, and it wasn't because of bad ratings. It wasn't because he said something absolutely outrageous. No, it's because he literally stated a fact. A fact! That's all it took! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Now, what did Jimmy Kimmel say that was so horrific that ABC suspended his show indefinitely? He said that Charlie Kirk's shooter wasn't Antifa, wasn't a part of the radical left. He said it was a cis white boy with Republican parents. He also nailed Trump for acting like Kirk's death was just a speed bump in the White House tour. Because when Trump was asked how he was holding up after Charlie Kirk's death, he said, very good. And then segued into how fancy his new ballroom is gonna be.
How are you holding up for the last day and a half, too? I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Mind you, you can Google this. Everything Jimmy Kimmel said is Googleable information. And the FCC chairman, the guy in charge of regulating TV, radio, satellite, wire, he clutched his goddamn pearls and was like, this is the sickest conduct possible. Sir, the sickest conduct possible is the US funding a genocide in Palestine, not Jimmy Kimmel reading off a teleprompter. Then ABC affiliates started dropping him, acting as though Jimmy quite literally committed a war crime when all he did was speak the fucking truth. And apparently MAGA's more scared of the truth than someone who has pronouns in their bio. Like, girl, please be so fucking serious. And here's the kicker. These are the same people who cry about cancel culture constantly. But the second Jimmy states one inconvenient truth, suddenly his show gets pulled. Mind you, when the far right gets canceled, it's never for telling the truth. It's because they can't open their mouths without some racist, transphobic, homophobic, bigoted bullshit coming out. This isn't comedy. This isn't satire. Jimmy Kimmel was suspended for telling the truth. Our government doesn't hate jokes. They hate reality. And they really hate that the internet makes it harder for them to hide all the sneaky shit they've always done. Before the internet, these clowns in office could bury scandals and gaslight the entire country. But now, the second they mess up, it's clipped, subtitled, and posted on your Explorer page before the press conference is even over. That's why Jimmy Kimmel wasn't just suspended. He was made into an example. They're sending a message of, if you repeat facts we don't like, then we'll pull the plug. They don't want the truth. They want to control the narrative. But good luck doing that in the digital age, bitch, because we're not fucking stupid. Now, why the fuck would you keep this thing? So there's this guy in Panama who says that a meteorite literally crashed into his backyard. And at first glance, it kind of just looked like a rock. But within 72 hours, it started oozing green slime, smelling like burning trash, and also growing tentacles. And this man's reaction wasn't, let me disintegrate this motherfucker. No, he said, let me post a 5-part series. You're letting this thing that looks like Satan's personal chia pet grow in your backyard like it's a science fair project? Now, obviously, the internet is torn. Half the people are like, babe, this is venom and we're about to enter the apocalypse. And the other half is like, babe, that's just fungus. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists are out here saying that the government deleted all of his videos because they don't want us knowing anything. Scientists are out here saying that it's probably devil's finger fungus. But babe, that does not look like devil's finger fungus. But this man in Panama is like, yeah, it smells like death and it burns through plants, but here's part 7. Yeah, no. Babe, I'm not saying this is real. I'm also not saying that this is not real. What I am saying is if it is real, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? I would have had that bitch in an incinerator by now. I've seen a lot of discourse online recently about how liberals are hypocrites for being concerned about Jimmy Kimmel's show being suspended. And I've actually been tagged in a few videos of people being like,
why is it that when conservatives get canceled, nobody cares, but when a liberal does, suddenly it's a big deal? It's the same thing.
Now, clearly, some of you Nimrods need a little help, so let me spell this out for you. It is not the same. Why? Because stating a fact and hate speech are two different things! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. When far-right talking heads get canceled or lose their jobs, it's not because they bravely told the truth. It's because they can't go 5 minutes without being a racist, transphobic, homophobic piece of shit. Jimmy Kimmel didn't do that. He literally stated a fact. He said something factual. Something you can find in 2 seconds on Google. Cancel culture is about accountability. Censorship is about control. And what's happening to Jimmy Kimmel isn't accountability, it's censorship. This was the government and media executives coming together like they were the bootleg Avengers, but instead of saving lives, they were like, the truth is inconvenient, so we're gonna fire Jimmy. That's not cancel culture, that's propaganda management. Here's a summary of the statement that got Jimmy suspended. He said that Charlie Kirk's shooter was not Antifa, wasn't a part of the radical left, it was a cis white boy with Republican parents. That's not hate speech, that's not false information, that's public record. That's a reported fact in almost every single article about this case. And for that, Jimmy Kimmel lost his job. Not for lying, not for spewing hate, but for telling the truth. Mind you, Charlie Kirk's death has already sparked real violence from the far right, which is ironic considering Trump's DOJ just deleted a study that shows that far-right extremists commit far more deadly attacks than people on the far left. In Phoenix, a man threatened to shoot up a gay bar because he was triggered by political events, specifically Charlie Kirk's assassination. And because fuckfaces like Trump on the far right are spinning it to make it look like the far left is responsible for Charlie Kirk's death, he's now incited more violence from the far right. So let me provide all of you with some clarity, okay? Is hate speech covered under the First Amendment? Hell yeah! You have every right to be a massive twat, but don't start crying when your twattery has real consequences. And for you other bitches, Jimmy Kimmel being suspended for stating facts is not the same as your fave MAGA influencer losing sponsors for calling trans kids demons and dead-naming athletes. One is hateful speech being punished. The other is people in power trying to erase the truth. Starbucks, you have always been a fucking bitch, and this is coming from somebody who used to work for you. And let me just say, you bitches have been trash. Your dress code, trash. Your union busting, trash. And now you're out here letting one of your own baristas fend for themselves. Why? Because they didn't feel comfortable putting Charlie Kirk's name on a fucking cup. And you bitches, instead of supporting your employees, which is something you've never done, instead decided to call her out. I remember I once reported my manager at Starbucks for verbal harassment, and instead of you bitches actually doing anything, you told her I reported her. And the reason you told her, actually your exact wording from the higher ups, you should be reporting your complaints to your manager. How the fuck do you expect me to report my manager to my manager? She actually bullied me so bad I had to transfer stores. I'm not joking. And thank God I fucking did, because my manager after her, Laura, I fucking love you, girl. But regardless, you bitches have $8 lattes that taste like burnt cardboard. And you underpay your employees while making them make 300 drinks a fucking hour. Drinks that, mind you, cost more than their hourly wage. So Starbucks, do the world a favor and shut all the way the fuck up. And maybe, I don't know, stop making coffee that tastes like fucking battery acid. Well, the Pentagon just announced that if journalists want to report inside the building, they now have to literally sign this whack-ass pinky swear pledge saying that they won't publish anything unless it's been approved by the government. And this includes information that's already unclassified. For those of you who need a little translation, the Pentagon press room is basically now North Korea with better Wi-Fi. Yay! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Now you're probably wondering, well, what happens if a reporter breaks this pledge? Credentials revoked. Pack your shit, babe. You've just lost access. Which means the military now decides which stories exist and which stories are going to get locked up and die in a basement vault. The directive states information must be approved by an appropriate official before release. Again, even if it's unclassified. So yeah, if you're at the Pentagon and you report that the cafeteria switched from serving Diet Coke to Pepsi, and you decide to make an article about it without it being approved, that's now technically contraband intel. This isn't journalism anymore. This isn't independent reporting. This is propaganda control. And the way they're trying to frame this as a preventative security measure is so fucking annoying, because the only thing you bitches are securing is your pride. Pete Hegseth already got caught spilling Yemen strike plans in a signals group chat like it was a fantasy football league. So instead of owning up to their mess, the Pentagon was like, what if we just silence the press, jail protesters, and call negative coverage, I don't know, illegal? And yes, Trump actually did say that out loud in the Oval Office to reporters. Here's the deal. If the news about our military has to be rubber stamped by the same exact people the military is supposed to be holding accountable, that isn't democracy. That's state-sponsored propaganda. And if that doesn't scare you, then congratulations, bitch, because it definitely should. Because the press should not need your permission, bitch. Also, just to make you all aware, I post all my content cross-platform to Instagram Reels, so if you don't follow me there already, make sure you do. That way, if you miss any of my videos on TikTok, at least you have more than one way to view my content. I just love that healthcare in this country is now optional. Trump just signed a bill that rips healthcare away from 12 million people, and that is somehow being sold as a big, beautiful win. Right.